Yeah, I think a lot of people have a little bit of anxiety, maybe some discomfort, maybe some being overwhelmed about moving from a home into independent living. So let's discuss that right now. Tom Hutto is the general manager of an independent living facility in the Dallas area. And do you see that a lot when people come here to visit, just to look at the place?
Absolutely, absolutely.
And why? What is their biggest discomfort?
I think the biggest discomfort is I'm giving up my independence if I move to a care facility or a senior facility. I think one of the things that is great about independent living is if you can live independently but just can't do what we call ADLs, which are cooking, mowing the yard, taking care of the house, those kind of things. We take all that away from you, and your energy is just spent on living and enjoying the lifestyle. The other thing I think is that they feel like they're going to be controlled.
Yeah.
That somebody's going to tell me when I have to do this, when I have to do that. It's really not like that at all. You can come and go here. You don't sign in and out. We don't require anything other than you just living here in a happy, shiny place.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be one thing if it was assisted living or memory care.
Right.
When it's independent, you really are independent. You can do basically whatever you want.
Right. And we like to refer to ourselves as gracious retirement living, because to say that everybody that lives here is totally independent is not true.
Sure.
There are some people who need some home health, some care. Maybe it's a family member, maybe it's a professional provider, but they can fill in the blank that way without having to be in a care facility where every move is monitored and so I think that the fact that it is independent is appealing to is less offensive. I guess is the word for seniors.
Yeah.
I think the other thing is it's really good to get them in here and walk through the property and talk to some of the other residents that live here. And I always tell the residents that they're our best salespeople. Come up and talk to them about what it's like to live here, and then they can kind of take away some of that anxiety about doing it.
Yeah.
But I think one lady comes to mind. Her name is Jeannie, and she literally hid behind her kids when they were here because she was so afraid of this place.
Really?
And now she's like Queen of the May. She's running the place. Anyway, we can take that. The other thing is the downside of being at home is it can be isolating, and that can breed depression, anxiety, and those kind of things. Face it, we're all busy. We can't get to mom as much as we'd like to. And so this is a built-in peer group. They're all different. You're going to find 4 people that you enjoy sitting with, and you're going to want to sit with those 4 people. And I've seen people come in here just nearly catatonic, bent over their walker, and then the next week they're joining in all the reindeer games and having a good time. So it's really very rewarding to see. I'll go back to 20 when we had COVID-19, and we had to basically shut the place down and keep people in their rooms. During that time, you could really see what living here with their peer group and their friends is like, and what we do has so much value. So I think it's a great place.
Yeah. Full transparency, this is where my dad lives. And before he moved in, when we said, my sister and I said, you need to move to independent living. You and mom need to move to independent living. His vision was the nursing home where my grandfather lived. Completely different. Nothing like that. But do you think a lot of people who are in their 70s, 80s, 90s have that vision instead of seeing what a place like this really is like?
Well, I think interestingly enough, as baby boomers like us age, we had like a 15% rise last year in inquiries from people who were baby boomers. And so they're planning ahead. They're looking ahead. They're not just looking for their parents. They're looking for that. Of course, they're very digitally enabled, so they need to have a good online experience. I think the best thing you can do is get somebody in and let us do our job, which is discovery, we call it, and figuring out what it is that that we do that can fill in the blanks for them.
Yeah.
I had a tour the other day, and a lady who's living in a 55 plus community. She's 87 years old. So guess how many good buddies she has in that apartment complex? Zero. Everybody's younger. Everybody's still very active. They're active adults. So one of the things that she talked about was, I just don't have any friends. I don't have anything to do. The people who are there don't want to mess with me and that kind of thing. And it made me feel really bad for her. And I so wanted to close it that day. But I need to let her think about it a little bit. But I said to her, there's not really anybody your age. There's nothing going on that you know. And they do some meals, but you got to pay extra for them, that kind of thing. Of course, it's a regular apartment, so it's not all inclusive like us or as much money as we are. But I think if you put a pencil to it, you can see that it kind of balances out once you pay for all the things that you would in a regular apartment.
Yeah, I was going to say, you say as much money. I think sticker shock scares a lot of people
Uh-huh.
because, for one, there are a lot of rumors like, oh my goodness, it's going to be $10,000 if you go to this place or go to that place. So, how do you comfort people and keep them from being scared about that?
Well, I think that you really have to understand the value of what you do and put that forth so that they can see it in a way that they can embrace it. I think, just it's all inclusive means nothing to them.
Yeah.
What does mean something to them is you're not paying electricity here. You can keep it as warm or cold as you want to keep it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Meals are great. The food's great overall. Some days there's going to be something you don't have to have again, but there's about 8 options at every meal for you to have. So there's always something you can eat. And if there's not, say at night you're just not in the mood for a tuna sandwich. If you want me to get you a bowl of cereal, I'll do that.
Yeah.
So there's options and that kind of thing. I think really the most important part of it is you're not trying to bring people in to run a reform school for seniors. You want people to come in and enjoy the lifestyle and have a freedom and feel like this is their home, feel like you're part of the family. And a lot of times we are the family for some people because their kids are all over the world and they're just not here. But allowing people to move throughout the community and live and enjoy the community, the only controlling piece we have is that whatever you do cannot upset the quiet enjoyment of the community for anybody else. So, we're a pet-friendly community. A lot of times it really makes a difference to somebody to know that we embrace pets. We'd like them to bring their pet if they can.
But not all places are like that, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's $500 or $1,500, somewhere in between there for a deposit, and then you pay a rent for your pet. You don't pay anything for your pet here. You sign an addendum that you're going to pick up after them, and you're going to make sure that they're not in the common areas, the dining room, and that kind of thing. But otherwise, we all love our pets, and they bring them stuff.
Yeah, you mentioned the word peace, and I feel peace knowing that my dad is here. I think a lot of people would feel better about their parents if they were at a place like this and wherever they are around the country. What can you say to help them find that peace and know that something like this is okay if they can afford it? It's great.
I think come see and listen to what an independent community is really like. And I never pour coffee or do anything in the morning where somebody who's normally here in the morning is not here, and the residents that sit around are like, hey, Janice is not here. You need to go check on her right now. And I have done that many, many times in my career. Day, night, any other time, and found people in harm's way, or I found them in perfectly fine. They just didn't want to come down. But there's a bunch of sets of eyes on every resident here. So they kind of take care of each other, and it's a little bit more. Oh, what is the word I'm looking for? It's not. There's more of a bonding relationship there with the other seniors than there are with CNAs that are walking around the community. So, I think a lot of people find it a much better option. And, with assisted living prices the way that they are and understanding, people think assisted living means you're going to pay one price and they're going to be assisted. That's not so.
Right.
They're going to do an assessment and decide what level of care they need.
Sure.
So back to what I was saying earlier, rather pick the person and the company that takes care of my family.
Yeah. You've given us some great advice, some great tips. Tom, thank you so much for doing that. Thanks for taking care of my dad. Thank you. If you have any,
It's a long way to help.
if you have any other topics you'd like us to discuss, please let us know. Parenting aging parents.